Time now for a look at business with Mike Eppel from CityNews 680. Mike, good morning. When the markets closed yesterday, you predicted a 3-1 Leafs victory. Close. It was 2-1.
I did. And it was close. I thought that maybe they'd get to the empty netter and prove me to be Nostradamus. But not so much. 2-1. Hey, we'll take it.
Yep, there you go. Game 5 tomorrow.
I like this Joseph Wall kid. I really do.
How can you not?
More of a he's more of a stand-up kind of goalie. He's not always on his dropping to his knees, looking to blow out a kneecap. And
I like the goalies that stay healthy and stop pucks. Maybe that's just me. Because the Leafs don't have many of those. All right, let's get into it here. Again, the U.S. debt ceiling, Mike. It's garnering a lot of conversation. There've been some high-level meetings this week with Speaker of the House and President Biden, but there's still some debate about how bad things can get if the deadline is allowed to pass. Well, what are the latest opinions on this?
U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen at the G7 meeting said that if it happens, it's going to be a disaster for the U.S. economy. You'll see interest rates skyrocket and bills not being paid to American creditors. And you could see the U.S. dollar drop and the markets tank 25%. And then you had the former president, Donald Trump, on the CNN town hall last night saying, yeah, Republicans should let it happen if the Democrats don't want to cut spending. Republicans are demanding pretty big spending cuts in this budget negotiation that isn't even a budget negotiation, but they use it as a wedge, a leverage to in the debt ceiling debate, which has to go on here once every year, it seems. So you've got the two sides at loggerheads, and the de facto deadline is June 1st. So I'm really actually surprised the markets aren't freaking out a little bit more about it, but they aren't, and they will all of a sudden wake up one morning and go, oh, look at that. That's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
They'll have to deal with it.
It doesn't take a lot of time for the markets to go, what? What is this?
Exactly.
So no doubt that's going to happen. So from the U.S. wondering how they're going to deal with their debt to just kind of everyday Canadians wondering how they're going to deal with their debt. What's the latest on that front?
Latest statistics about the number of Canadians filing for either bankruptcy proposals to restructure their debts or outright insolvency way up, said the latest statistics in from Ottawa indicating that, we had this pandemic lull, people's expenses weren't going up, certainly what they've done in the past year with rocketing inflation. And then you've got on top of that much higher borrowing costs. The cost of living has gone through the roof. And the number of Canadian households filing for insolvency at 11,000 in the latest statistics, and that's up the highest since 2019, and consumer proposals at the highest level since 2011. And this is a situation said it's going to get worse. There's just no way around it, considering that just the RBC this week had a study that next year, when the mortgages that were on very low mortgage rates set in 2020 or 2021, when those reset next year or in 2025, guess what? A lot of households are going to be even more financially strained, certainly with monthly bills.
I understand this federal government is embroiled in a lot of controversies right now. I guess there's no other word for that. But this is still the thing that we're not talking about enough, quite frankly. And, well, I mean, some parties in the House of Commons are, but this is an occurrence happening every day in this country that we need to shine more of a light on. And quite frankly, we don't. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people hurting out there.
Could be in an election year next year, too.
Yeah, we're not that. It really feels like we're not that far away, Mike. I'm with you. About 90 seconds here, Mike. Couple of tech stories. Disney Plus, one of the more significant streaming services out there, released some numbers. What are they saying?
They're losing subscribers, which is maybe a factor of inflation. I'm not sure. Or they just don't have the new content that people are clamoring to get. Their production costs have gone through the roof. The Disney Plus streaming service specifically lost over $600 million in the latest quarter, Sid. That's a big number. And now you've got the Hollywood writers' strike. They're looking at more advertisements on the program, higher monthly fees, and possibly less content, actually, because it's just not profitable at this level. So they got to adjust, and maybe streaming isn't the be all and end all. We'll see what companies like Netflix and Apple and all of the other ones have to talk about.
And I mean, because I've worked in sports so long, I keep going back to this. The streaming services, they've just started to dip their toe into the rights waters here. And I believe some of these specific services are really gearing up for some big moves. These numbers are important in that regard as well. Finally,
but how much do you spend, and then how much do you get back from it?
Yeah, that's the thing. Apple TV Plus spent a boatload on Major League Soccer. They're not going to come close to making that money back if early indications are accurate. So to be continued. Finally, big day for Google yesterday. They had some announcements.
Yeah, Investor Day showed off the Google Pixel Fold smartphone, foldable phone. I don't know. Apple has not gotten into the foldable phone game. Samsung and Google are. $1,700 is the price point on this thing. And the other thing, Sid, we were talking about artificial intelligence at the start of this year, and that's all we've been talking about of late between Google and Microsoft. And Google says that they're bringing in even more AI into their search functions. So do with that what you will.
I always get a little nervous at the improved AI, because we're about nine steps of improvement away from we work for them. And that makes me a little nervous. Topic for another day. Mike, appreciate it, man. Thank you.